Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hello, and welcome back to another live stream. How's everybody doing today? Good morning or good day, depending on where you're from. How's everybody's week going so far? Good morning, good morning, good morning. We'll take some time to welcome the community to the stream. Then we will get prepared for a New York AM session. Another day, another chance to gain some more conviction through experience. We got to keep showing up every single week. Got to put that time in to gain that experience. That experience is what's going to give the conviction. Okay, so we'll give some time to say good morning to the community. See who's here and how everybody's week is going. Then we will develop a game plan and get ready for the open. Good morning, good morning, good morning, or good day, depending on where you're from. Hopefully everybody's week is going well. Let's see who we have here today. Good morning, Saju. Good morning, Dylan. Good morning, Jackson. Good morning, Maya. Good morning, Govna. Good morning, Jugal. Good morning, Apex Legends. Good morning, Christina. Good morning, Mitchell. Good morning, Yubong. Good morning, Enrique. Vis, what's up? Trader Kira, what's up? Tad, how are you doing today? Grace, good morning. Estras, good morning. Joris, good morning. Caesar, good morning. Adhere, how are you doing today? Uday, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully everybody's day is going well. Hopefully everybody's week is going well. Just welcoming the community into the stream before we get going this morning. Good morning, Kassar. Good morning, Matas. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Livy. Good morning, Khaled. Good morning, the Unicorn Trader. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, June 30 Trades. Good morning, Tatiana. Good morning, Abdullah. Good morning, Samuel. Good morning, Lawrence. Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody's week going so far? Good morning, Dali. Good morning, Ivan. Good morning, Zabir. Good morning, Yusuf. Uturo, how are you doing today? Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully everybody's week is going well. Good morning, Ronnie. Good morning, Gordon. Good morning, Gustavo. Adam, what's up? Pierre, how are you doing today? Hello, hello, hello. See how everybody's week is going so far? Throw a 1 in the chat if you're green on the week. Throw a 2 in the chat if you're red on the week. And throw a 3 in the chat if you have yet to trade this week. See how everybody's doing so far this week. And we'll start to get into some of the information. Starting off with a bunch of 1s. Love to see that. People are green. Love to see that. Some 3s. The majority 1 so far. Love to see that. And then also a lot of 3s. Here come a couple 2s. Well, no matter where you stand on the week, it's time to let that go. Gonna have to focus up on today. We have to show up as sharp as possible for every single session. So, leave yesterday's experience behind. Focus on today. Don't worry about tomorrow. Time to be in the present. Time to focus up and complete the justifications to your actions. Okay, so don't bring any of yesterday's mental or emotional inducement into today's actions. Make sure that today we're focusing on completing our model to the best of our abilities. Okay, so give it a few seconds. Make sure you're there. Make sure the emotional intelligence is there. Make sure the mental intelligence is there. And then when you're ready to be objective to price, then let's begin to build a game plan. Let's begin to get ready for today's action. For the individuals that are green and just want to stay green on the week, you know me, I'm always a fan of less is more. Okay, I'd rather be taking quality over quantity. You truly only need 1 good trade a week or 2 good trades a week. If you're green on the week and just want to finish it up there, right? You don't have to trade today. You don't have to trade tomorrow or the next day. If you'd rather just stay green on the week, that's completely fine. Okay, so either time to be objective and get ready to create a game plan, or determine your risk management beforehand and align your actions with your words. If you're going to sit on the sidelines today and you're telling yourself that now, make sure your actions align with that. Okay? So going to take a sip of water, and then we're going to begin to get through our game plans for New York Open. All right, so first things first, my game plan never changes. I always get on the economic calendar first. We need to understand when the important times of the day are. Okay, so get over to forexfactory.com. Make sure you know when the red folders are occurring throughout the day. Okay, so we have PMI at 9:45 a.m. So in about 20 minutes, right? You got a red folder that's going to occur. So the important times of the day are going to be 9:30 in about 5 minutes. And then we got the red folder at 9:45. That's always the beginning of the game plan. Time, in my opinion, is the most important element. Then we move over to bias or draw on liquidity. And I left this here because this is the current information. So if anybody reviewed it during the opening segment, this is what I'm looking at for today. After price took out this swing low here, we got bought back inside the range. Right, the external low being the low of the range. Ever since we went back inside the range here, we were looking for an external to internal move. We had this bearish FEG here that had yet to be rebalanced. Now that it's been rebalanced and price showed no reaction to it, right, it's invalidating this bearish FEG because it showed no reaction to it. I'll continue to look for higher prices. You have 2 external locations here. You have a swing high here. You have a swing high here. We'll go through a couple more assets and then we'll get ready for the opening time. NQ. Correlated asset to ES. So you're going to have the same exact information. You should have the same exact information. When 2 correlated assets are moving the same at the same time, that looks more definitive than if there was a crack in correlation. Okay, so same thing here. Price took out the swing low here. After we got bought back inside the range, we then looked for an external to internal move. Once this move was completed, we then saw that it was invalidating the bearish FEG by trading above it. Since it's trading above it, it must still be reaching higher, and we'll look at the swing high and the equal highs as the target. Okay, and if anybody saw my segment on My Funded TV, I believe I also spoke about this on my channel last Wednesday as well. All the recent volatility, in my opinion, is just another chance to position long term. Okay, so DCAing into longer term positions makes complete sense. Right? You'd want to be doing it here compared to here. Right? Because then this is the appreciation that you're looking at here. Okay. So looking for higher prices on ES and NQ. We have some time before the news driver, so we'll also go through Dixie and Euro. Dixie's in that same exact situation that we kind of just spoke about with the swing low on NQ and ES. Dixie swept the swing low here. After sweeping the swing low, it's getting bought back inside the range being the swing low. Because of that, I'll look for a move back internal. Right, there is a little bit of an FVG that has been left open here. Okay. Now, EU should be inverse to that. It's an inversely correlated asset. So same exact information here. Ran above a swing high. After running above the swing high, it got bought back in, it got sold back inside the range here. When it got sold back inside the range, started looking for a move back internal. Okay, so now that you see kind of what I'm looking at in terms of order flow, we could take a look at a couple positions too. Because either way, I would wait until after the news drivers. So we could take a look at CL. There's been a couple positions that has occurred in CL the past couple days. So let's take a look. We'll review both of them. Amazing job by the Unicorn University members. Pointed out a 5-minute bullish unicorn during yesterday's session. And look how beautiful this thing was. During the New York session yesterday, price runs into an hourly bullish FVG. A good higher time frame point of interest for looking for long positions. And then what occurs at that location. Get a swing low, a swing high, a new low, then a new high. The new high is very convincing. Right, look at all these closers. You have an FVG right in here. Candle closure above the breaker block here. So all the criteria to a breaker block plus an FVG, which equals unicorn, is present. On top of having a very, very clear draw on liquidity here, you have equal highs as a target. So you're executing an idea from a higher time frame level during New York Open with a very clear draw on liquidity. It provides multiple entries, right? You have one here, here, and here. And then runs beautifully to target. Phenomenal job by the CL gang. That was a beauty. It had all the elements of making a beautiful trade, and it worked out how it was supposed to. That's probabilities right there. That's putting probabilities in your favor right there. Then you also have today's position. Take a look. This was a 15-minute position. Okay. This was right after London closed. You can see 5 a.m. there. right? So it's in between London and New York, but you have very clear information here. 15-minute chart. This is above a 4-hour swing high, right? So in terms of a higher time frame point of interest, you have multiple swing highs that were above on your aligned higher time frame. And then on the aligned to lower time frame, you get a very clear entry function. Swing high, swing low, new high, new low. FVG's there as well, so this is a unicorn, right? You have the bearish FVG overlapping the breaker block. In my opinion, this would be the confirmation here when you get candle closure below the breaker block. So the 630 candle being the confirmation, right? There's probably multiple entries in here for people that front run this position. But nonetheless, this is absolutely gorgeous. Very clear draw on liquidity. Once again, gaps tend to get filled, right? So ever since the opening gap was created, it never got filled, which makes sense that it would get filled. Gorgeous information here on oil. So phenomenal job for the individuals that took advantage of oil this week. Now that we have New York open, let's take a look. All right, so this is the daily FVG that I had mentioned was invalidated. And because of that reason, we were looking for higher prices. Getting higher prices here off the start. Either way, I'll be looking after the news, right? So you got another 10 minutes before the red folder. And then you also have the targets up here. Let's see if the NQ targets were left there too. Yep. You have to be aware of where we're sitting at on the day. Okay, 3.22%. Target's right at the circuit breaker, so we have room to work with here. Let me just clarify that a little bit better. It's not a circuit breaker. The prop firms specifically say that you cannot participate within 2% of the circuit breaker. Okay. Along with there's no circuit breaker to the upside during regular trading hours. So let me just clarify that. Nonetheless, going to be waiting until after the news, so we'll wait and be patient and see if anything aligns with the bias. As we're waiting, if you guys want to throw any questions or comments in the chat, get back over to the chat and we can gladly go over any information that you guys would like to. You guys saw the biases and what I'm looking at moving forward for the assets that we watch. Clear, but not in our session. Yeah, so if you don't participate in oil before New York AM, then it's very clear that you wouldn't execute that position. Right? Everybody should understand their model. Everybody should have defined their hunting hours, and everybody should respect their rules. But everybody is also an independent thinker, and everybody's going to have their own set of rules. What matters is you're either green or red at the end of the day. What matters is you respected your rules or you didn't. Bro, this market running, and we won't get an opportunity. We'll see. We'll see. Gonna look after the news. The prop firm's breaker. Yeah. Well, maybe that was the running that Zicky was just talking about. I guess they are going to run without us. I mean, that couldn't have been any better timing to do that directly after I said that. I mean, perfect timing. This wasn't even the news either, so. Okay, well, there's your target. I mean, Yeah, I'm glad that the bias was correct. I'm glad that, you know, we got the move that we were looking for, but this thing just ran without us. We didn't even get a, you know, what is this? So NQ's trying to go too. Phenomenal job with the bias, right? There's your target. It is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and chase it. You know, I'm glad that I could create a plan and the plan works out, but there was nothing there for me to execute. If I'm only executing the unicorn model, then take a look. There's no unicorn model there. So, right, there's no breaker. Like, even if you want to call this like a continuation breaker here, this thing went all the way to the target before a position could even be created. So, you know, it is what it is. Look at that, too. What a whip. So what's the news? Somebody had to have... Is anybody looking at the news? Somebody check Trump's account. I mean, that's what it pretty much comes down to at this point. Lovely price. Lovely price, nonetheless. There's no upward circuit breaker. That's called a halt, which doesn't happen on indices. It does happen, just not during regular trading hours. There's no limits to the upside during regular trading hours. Check the CME website. You'll see the information there. Previously, you made a statement saying the win rate of the model is based on the operator. Could you explain that more in depth? Yeah, we have our own mental or emotional intelligence, right? You're not going to operate as good as I'm going to operate. Or vice versa. Maybe you're a better operator than I am, right? The way that you control yourself within a position is going to determine the outcome. If you're too fearful to hold something, right? If you're too greedy to take profits, you're going to get different results than I'm going to get. So yes, a win rate is absolutely contingent upon the operator, the abilities, the individual's ability to execute, right? I could give you the same exact information. I could give you the same exact steps, okay, to a model. But if you get scared while seeing that P&L flow up and down, that it emotionally induces you to click the button again, you're not going to execute it the same as somebody else. So yes, a win rate is definitely contingent upon the operator. Briefly, bias of today's trading. Go back to the beginning of the video. We went through our bias for all of our assets. You could check it there. Now that the market's open, we got to focus on New York Open. Do you trade London session? I'm from the East Coast of the US, so I'm normally sleeping during London session. Okay, so it's very clear. I don't really understand the misinformation on some of the socials. If my execution labels are shown on the chart, I executed the position. If the chart does not have execution labels, there was no trade taken. So I document every single day. I'm learning and gaining experience every single chance I can get. That's why I document the model every time it appears. You know what I mean? You think Steph Curry never shoots the basketball outside of the game? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to practice how you play, and you have to gain conviction through experience. Ash, Dixie has a negative correlation with NQ and ES, so if you expect ES and NQ and Dixie to go up, what do we look for then? There's many times where the correlation between NQ and Dixie are not very strong, okay? So that's not something that I focus on. Okay, there are times where Dixie is going up and NQ is going up at the same time, right? So That's not something that weighs a large portion in my decision making, is what I have to say about that. Quality over quantity. I couldn't agree more with that. Less is more. Thank you, Andrew. 110%. Was a nice live. See you next Wednesday. Have a great day, Mike. Thanks for joining. Yep, we go live every single Wednesday. So anybody that wants to join these lives, sub to the channel so you can be notified when we go live again. We've been going live every single Wednesday for multiple years. Do me a favor, if you're getting any value from it, like the video. That way, we can continue to keep doing this. We'll go over as much information as possible, gain experience every single chance we can get. Someone speaking at 9:35. That's probably a yellow folder or something. Let's take a look. There you go. Yeah. Waller. What an orange folder there. Thank you, Waller. The 401ks say thank you to Waller. Appreciate it. White House considers slashing China tariffs to de-escalate the trade war. Yeah, see, that wasn't on the economic calendar. But this is why we got to stay in line with all the news. Right, that was not on the economic calendar. And look what it did to price. Gotta be aware of the news. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to take another sip of water. All right, thank you very much. Notice how the tariff news does more to price than PMI. 9:45 now, right? Red folder. I guess we're not that interested as we are with the tariffs. That's what it comes down to. You get a 100-point candle here on tariffs. You get a 40-point candle here on PMI. I mean, information speaks for itself. Tariffs down to 65 to 50%. Very nice. That's what I was trying to say with the long-term purchases. All this news, all this volatility is just another long-term positioning, right? Buy low, sell high. During times of extreme fear, that's when you want to be positioning yourself. Also, do not look at others and feel pressure. You should never judge yourself to others. Thank you for sharing that, Zicky. I couldn't agree more. Comparison is the thief of joy, without a doubt. We are on our own path. We are independent thinkers. We take extreme ownership of our own results. Pump my bags. Yeah, I mean, they can send it. If they want to send it, there's nothing wrong with that at all. Send it back to all-time highs. What was I saying about SMT earlier? I was referring to Dixie and NQ. So there's an inverse correlation. Right, Dixie should be moving lower when NQ or ES is moving higher. There's an inverse correlation between the two. But what I'm trying to say is that correlation is not very strong. It's not something that you should overly concern yourself with, because there's many times where that correlation does not work properly, like we're seeing right now, right? Dixie's going up, NQ is going up. right? So that correlation between the two is not very strong right now. So don't use that as a cornerstone to your analysis in day trading, is what I'm trying to say. Don't allow that correlation to hold you back from executing, because there will be times like this where it does what it wants. What's the indicator that I showed before? This is the My Funded Futures circuit breaker. Okay. They tell you that you should not be trading within 2% of a limit. Right. So just let it load for a second. Oh, it is loaded already. I'm not zoomed out. So these zones right here. Where's the downside limit? All right. These zones right here is within 2% of a limit. So they're saying that you should not be trading if price ever gets within 2% of a limit. Right here. Beautiful bias this morning. We're getting the higher prices. I'm more than okay with sitting out. There's clearly no unicorn here, so great. Bias is right. Doesn't matter. No money made. So that's what gaining conviction is, right? Creating a game plan, then getting results to that game plan, right? Working in real time provides a lot more conviction than hindsight information. Come in here, create a game plan, understand what you're looking for the day. If you get it, great, execute. If you don't, follow your rules and focus on implementing the process instead of impulsively acting. Okay. Should I wait for Asia London lows to be taken as well, or just wait for the first POI and execute if a 5-minute unicorn setups? Right now, I would not be executing anything. Price clearly went higher. If price went below Asia lows right now, I would be quite worried. That would be quite the dump to go back below Asia lows at this point. So just take it one candle at a time, be objective to the current information. I wouldn't try to predict anything, right? I'm not sitting here saying I need price to go below Asia lows to look for a position. Just be objective to price. Like right now, all I could say is price is moving higher, and it's moving higher without my entry function. So I didn't execute. I have a problem of getting out and taking partials too early. What can I do? You have to understand that your winners have to be larger than your losers. Okay, look at this real quick. Just talk about this real quick because this is important. Okay. Just take a look at this real quick. All right, here's reality. Okay. Win rates. Okay. Win rates. You probably have like a 50% win rate, 40% win rate. Okay. So if you're losing half of the time, if you ever have a large loss, you're going to blow the account. Doesn't matter what win rate you have, but a realistic win rate, we'll say 50%, 40%, right? So majority of the time you might be losing. So since majority of the time you are losing, you have to understand that you can never have a large loss because it's probable that you will have losses. Therefore, we instantaneously have to eliminate one of the results. The only way that you blow accounts is when you have large losses. So that could literally never happen. You have to be overly impatient with your losers. Okay, your losses have to be defined. You have to know exactly where you're looking to cut the position and when you're wrong. And then you have to be strong enough mentally and emotionally to adhere to those rules. Your actions have to align with those words. You can never have a large loss. This is the way that you blow an account. So since you're still only winning 40% of the time, 50% of the time, this is what normally happens. You usually have small wins. You usually have small losses, right? 1R trades, 1R losses. This is going to cancel each other out. Your small wins are going to happen just as much as your small losses. These are going to happen the same amount. And that's okay because that's break even, right? If you have a $500 win, then you have a $500 loss, that's break even. Okay? This is never happening, so we don't even have to worry about this. You cannot have a large loss. If these are breaking even, this is what's going to make your progress right here. Large wins. So you have to realize the importance of large wins. How can you get to having a large win? Your winners need to be larger than your losers. These need to be 2, 3R right here. You have to find a way to allow yourself mentally or emotionally to stay in a winner longer, right? So if you're not comfortable with risk, seeing the P&L going up and down makes you do something you should not do, then change that to a percentage or something. Turn it off a dollar amount, hide the dollar amount, do something physically or technically that will allow you to get those large winners. Because this is where you make progress right here. This is where you make progress. You have to have large winners. 2R, 3R winners. If you're risking $500, you have to have wins that are $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. That's what's going to make your progress because majority of the time you're going to be doing this. Break even. You're going to have small win, small loss, small win, small loss, small win, small loss, big win, right? Make some progress. Then you go back to small win, small loss, small win, small loss. You never allow a large loss because then you get a second big win and now you probably pass the account. Now you're probably available for a payout. So all I'm getting at here is that you have to be insanely disciplined with your risk. Risk is the #1 priority at all times. You can literally never have a large loss because that large loss is what blows the account. And I'm sitting here being realistic. Nobody's going to come in here with a 90% win rate. Okay? 50% win rate makes sense. 40% win rate makes sense. So you have to understand how to deal with losses and how to deal with wins. You have to be very patient with your winners. Like, you will literally be holding a winning position longer than you hold a losing position. So if you're not comfortable holding a position, then you need to start doing stuff in your real life that makes you uncomfortable. You have to be okay being uncomfortable because you will have to hold that position longer than you hold those losers. Bunch of great books out there. Best Loser Wins by Tom Hogard. Okay, definitely take a look into it. Quick little risk management rant. Because this is, again, I still have nothing to do here. So in terms of live price action, there's no unicorn on the screen. So completely fine with going over the other information. How many swings can we have if the first swing didn't create the stop hunt? This is, I want it to be very clean. And if it's not clean, I don't want to use it. So this is a short position right here. I would like this to be a swing high. I would like this to be a swing low. I would like to make a new high that is also a swing high. And then I want to make a new low. I want it to be this clean. This looks very decisive. I do not want to see this. Like, look at all these swing points. Look at all these swing points. Less is more. Less is more. Normally, we are expecting a bullish bias. Yeah, we did have a bullish bias today. We got the move that we were looking for. You still have that external to take out, though. I would let them hit the higher time frame targets before considering anything else. So just trend is your friend until the end of the trend. Right now, we are moving higher. Don't have to force against it. Thanks. I am on 1 to 2 RR. Yeah, see, 1 to 2 RR is perfect. All you need is about a 40% win rate with that. You have to be ensuring that your winners are larger than your losses. So make sure those R2R. All right, risk $100 to make 200. Risk $200 to make 400. Whatever the number is that you feel comfortable. Risk $300 to make 600. Whatever the number is. We have SMT at the highs on the 4-hour versus NQ. Like you are looking at the 4-hour. You might, yeah. What's this? This is Tuesday 15th of 25. Tuesday. Yeah, so I mean this took out. That took out the high, but this didn't. So that is correct. Bearish SMT there. On the 4-hour. Once again, I'm just not interested. So it might take it out right here anyways. It almost just did. It's got to hit those. Yeah, so it's hitting the higher time frame targets now. ES just took it out, I believe. Let's go down and look at it. It's got to take out those higher time frame targets first. Yeah, so ES did. Yeah, I understand the question. After price takes out the external location, can we become bearish? What I'm telling you right now, I still stand by what I'm saying. Trend is your friend until the end of the trend, right? Just because it's at a certain location, you don't instantly do something. You need confirmations to that idea, right? So yes, ES just took out the external high, but that does not mean I instantaneously become bearish because it did that. There's got to be something that happens to show a reason to become bearish. Right now, that's not happening. Right? So trend is your friend until the end of the trend. Wait until the end of the trend to become bearish. Can we expect two conditions on one day? That's completely up to you. If you feel like changing your bias, personally, I don't do that. I'd rather not be on the screen 24 hours a day. So I come in during the morning, as you guys see during all of the live streams. So if you haven't been here long, go back and watch all of the live streams because it's always the same. We come in, we create a game plan. We understand time. We understand when we want to participate. Then we understand our bias. Once we create a bias, we then go in during that session looking for that type of trade. If that happens, great, we get a result. If that doesn't happen, then I just don't trade. I'm not the individual to be changing bias every 20 minutes. That's not how I personally trade. Right? If the bias gets completed, like today. So today we had a bullish bias. We pointed to this daily bearish FVG right here. We stated, since price invalidated that bearish FVG, right? It was invalidated because there was no form of rejection from this bearish FVG. We went above it. Since we went above it, it looked like we were reaching higher for higher prices. Therefore, we were bullish, and we set the target of the external swing high. Since price was bullish, and we took out that target, our idea is completed for the day. Right? I'm done. I created a game plan. It was bullish. I pointed to a target. It took the target. Just because I didn't get to participate in that doesn't mean that I should change my game plan. I just didn't get a trade today, and I'm more than okay with that. Less is more. Take quality over quantity every single day of the week. I'm more than okay with not taking a trade today. Ash, for some reason, backtesting brings me only anxiety. How else can I gain more conviction? Practice in between trading sessions? I mean, backtesting is that. So maybe you could look for other forms of education, right? Instead of you backtesting, go use somebody else's data, right? Somebody else probably has backtested that for whatever amount of time. Or if backtesting is not the issue, maybe that emotional and mental control is, right? Getting anxiety. Maybe you have to work on lessening the anxiety in real life, right? Do stuff in real life that helps with the emotional and mental control. Read books, write, work out. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to take another sip of water. All right. Thank you very much. How much backtesting is enough backtesting? You got to have at least 300 trades in backtesting. If you haven't collected at least 300 trades, you got to see more than a year's worth of data. I do 1 trade a day and collect 300 trades. The market is cyclical. Okay, there's different cycles that the market experiences. You got to be able to see all of them. That's why I'm saying it's the amount of time, not the amount of trades. Got to get through at least more than a year's worth of data. Backtesting, I get 45% win rate and overall profitable, but only average around 70 trades per year. How do I get so damn patient, and how am I going to pass a challenge with that slow progress? So there's other ways of passing challenges. You could go on my YouTube channel and take a look at the OSOC method, or if you're in the Discord, you can review the information there. Ask that question in the Discord, and they will probably send the links to you. The community is very active in that sense. But you're either green or red. So being profitable in a backtest is very important. There's other ways of passing an eval. What does matter is you being patient. So you should remain patient. That's a very important aspect to have in trading. I would not change what you're doing because of a challenge. Show you different methods. Any trading related books? Absolutely. Yep, Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. Or Best Loser Wins by Tom Hogard. Let's say market taps into an hourly FEG. When I take a fresh entry on the 5-minute with a clear setup, it sometimes fails. It again gives a fresh one, but this time moves as intended. How to identify a correct one? Hindsight is 20/20, right? You can't just... There'll be little things that you could try to look at, such as SMT, right? If there's a crack in correlation, and then you enter, maybe that'll make a difference, but probabilities are probabilities. The model is not a 100% guaranteed win rate. There is no model in the world that is. You will never find a 100% guaranteed win rate. That's just not real. You will have losers. You will have winners. That is realistic. So it makes complete sense that one would fail and one would work. Right? In that scenario, if you traded both of them and you used 1 to 2R risk to reward, you would come out profitable. right? A 50% win rate at 1 to 2 risk to reward. You made a profit there. All right, so I still have nothing to do here, right? They made their move higher right there at the open. Ever since then, it's just consolidating sideways. I still have no interest. I'm not going to sit here and force myself upon the market. Love to see that the buy is played out, but there's no entry function here for me to utilize for those higher prices. And I'm fine with that. So, unless you guys have any other questions or comments, we can go over some more information if you'd like. If there isn't any questions or comments left, I'm going to go ahead and move on with my day. I'll begin to wrap up live stream unless you guys have more information to go over. But this is one of those moments in time where less is more. This is one of those moments in time where instead of forcing yourself upon the market, save the mental capital and go get a workout in. Do something good for the mind. Do something good for the body. We do not need to be trading every single day. And this is one of those days. So I'll give another minute or two to see if any other questions or comments come across. And then we'll begin to wrap it up. What to do when there's a unicorn within a unicorn? Which one should I take into consideration? Maybe I'm not understanding the question, but you should only have one unicorn on your screen, right? If there's a 5-minute unicorn, you execute the position on the chart that you found it on. If you're referring to getting a 5-minute unicorn and then getting a 1-minute unicorn within that 5-minute one, that's not something that I do. You trade the chart that you found the entry function on. Right? 5-minute unicorn, 5-minute trade. If I understand that correctly. NQ is the 7:35 5-minute at uni. 7:35. You have a swing low. You have a swing high. You have a new low, then a new high. I would agree with this. Is there a higher time frame point of interest here? Oh, it does tap into, if this is, let's see. Very nice. Very nice, Utero. Swing low, swing high, new low, new high, hourly bullish FVG. Very good job, Utero. I agree with that. Yes, 7:35. Very good job. So yes, I would say yes, Utero. Heavy sell-off, they're saying. Yep, they are sending this thing lower. Why are they sending this thing lower? Why? Why? Pretty clear in my opinion. Pretty clear. Daily, bearish FEG. They are respecting half of the FEG. They swept out a swing high within that location. This makes a lot of sense. In our community, we did have a bearish bias on oil. So last thing I'll wrap it up with is take a look at one thing real quick. I might have passed it. Give me 2 seconds. Check our website out. Head over to unicornuniversity.com. If you don't mind, I would love to get your guys' opinion on it. You can see the Twitter post I made here. Trying to get everybody's opinion. Trying to see if we could do anything better. Trying to see if you like it. Would love to see what you guys have to say about it. This is the community that we run. This is our private group. So anybody that wants to join Unicorn University, that is where we're working every single day. So head over to unicornuniversity.com. Tell me what you think about the website. Let us know how we did. I am going to begin to wrap up the live stream with it here. Okay. The bias was correct today. We had a great job pointing to the bias on multiple assets. We got the move higher in NQ and ES. Since our bias played out, but did not give us a position to execute it, I'm more than okay with being flat on the day. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up the documentation in the communities. Let me know what you guys think about the new webpage. Throw a comment on the Twitter posting. Would love to hear what you guys have to say. We go live every single Wednesday. So we'll be back here next Wednesday. Sub to the channel, like the video. That way you can be notified for when we go live again. I do also want to say thank you. I appreciate every single person that is here. All of the questions and comments really provide a lot of value. We get to go over a lot of information. And every single time that we keep showing up, it's gaining more conviction. We continue to gain conviction through experience, and we're going to get to where we want to be. So thank you for everybody that participates. You're providing a lot of value, and it's creating a great space. Let's move the conversation over to the Discord. I hope everybody has a great day, and thank you once again.